Hi, this is Tanya Sheridan with InAllSassiness.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to create this interactive layout with our Happiest Place collection. This is a collection that was available last summer, and they have brought it back for revival. It's called Return to Happiest Place under our promotions tab, and I absolutely fell in love with the metallic. It's a silver foil metallic, kind of like a holographic pattern that's on the cardstock that matches the pattern paper. So that is what I created with today. It does include the color yellow, and I opted to not include it into my layout. Mine will be used for Disney, so you can certainly add the yellow if you want more of a Disney, but I wanted to show how you could use it for other things as well. So what I'm going to do is talk you through a little bit of it, show you the supplies that you need, and then I'm actually going to do the video in two parts so that you can see how to create the diagonal pattern and then to put the rest of the layout together. So you'll notice that we have these fun little silver medallions on top. These are our flip flaps, and it holds, the medallion is going to hold the flip flap up when it's in your book. So it holds both of them into place. There's one that goes up there and one that goes down there. So if you're not familiar with our flip flaps, it gives you the opportunity to add extra photos, journaling, memorabilia. So instead of one, you now have three. Here's one, and again, you have three. And this fun little medallion is on the top. So it is double-sided, and then again, it adds as a placeholder and then just an interactive element. So over on this side, you have 4x4s. So you're going to have the option of 3 and 3 more, which is 6. So 6, 12, and then you have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So lots of photographs for one particular layout, which I think is awesome, especially if you're scrapbooking Disney or a birthday or something like that, you have tons and tons of photographs for. So I know that there is a reflection, so I am going to now take it out, the layout out of the page protector so that you can see it a little bit more clear. It's always tricky to photograph the page protectors and the flip flaps because they do create such a glare. So with this layout, you're going to notice that all of your paper is going at a slant, a diagonal. And so I'm going to show you how that you can do that today. And you can do this layout over and over again with whatever papers that you have that coordinate. And you're ultimately going to have a beautiful creation either way. Okay, so a couple of things to notice. There is some stamping, so I'm going to point that out. That is using one of our exclusive stamp sets that is only available for makers, and so that is included in your kit if you're following along with me. So you'll want to make sure that you have that out. I actually use my regular scissors, my adhesive runners. You're probably going to need 1 or 2, maybe even 3, some foam tape, and then of course a black ink pad if you choose to do the stamping, and your stamp and some blocks and cleaner. So those are the items that you need. So we are going to pull aside one paper, one layout, and I'm going to pull out the kit. If you don't have the kit and you would like to order the kit, you can order it at InAllSassiness.com. It is there for you. So I'm going to take out a piece of white daisy cardstock and all of my strips. I'm going to tell you a couple things about those strips. We're going to slide them off to the side. There is no right or wrong way, so you can follow my pattern exactly. I will have a photograph posted of close-up so you can see exactly which pattern I followed, but you can do your own thing and just make a pattern that works for you. That is perfectly fine as well. Okay, so I think that's all the pieces that we need for right now. Now you will notice that I gave you 2 sheets of 6x12 pattern paper, or the foil paper. The one is the yellow that I told you about, so if you wanted to include parts of yellow, you could certainly do that. This is an extra surplus so that if you need to switch something out, or if you find that you're short or what have you, or if you just want more of the stripes. Now, part of the reason for this is that if you notice on the layout, I have this black polka dot and it's in 2 or 3 spots. You have a couple of those. I think you have 2. That was a zip strip on the pattern paper set. So there was only 2 per paper pack. So it made it a little bit more challenging. So in some of the spots where you see this, you can interchange and cut this or the yellow, either way. And that'll give you some extra filler space. Okay, so we are gonna start with the one side. I'm gonna walk you through some of the process, and then I will let you finish your stripes on your own, and then we will come back and create the layout. So I just kind of put all of my pieces off to the side. Again, you don't have to follow the exact order that I did. That's totally up to you. You are gonna want to find your bigger piece. So this is about 2 inches. It is a red piece, if that helps you. And we're gonna start with that. You're gonna notice that over here, it comes all the way from the top to the bottom. But if you put your piece there, it's not gonna reach all the way. So that's why we have 2 pieces. You're gonna wanna determine with this piece, your angle that your stripes are gonna go. So it doesn't have to be a sharp angle. It can be a narrow angle. That's totally up to you. But you're gonna wanna determine that. So I have mine coming off the corner about like that. I want to angle it a little bit more. And I want to make sure with my second piece I have it the way I want it. Once I have it down, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it. Now this one here, I only need adhesive about halfway down because we're going to trim it off. So we're going to line it up. You do want to make sure with your diagonals that you're totally crossing the corners. That is the tricky part. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and flip it because this is my baseline. And I'm going to take my scissors and simply cut off the scraps or the overflow. And you can decide if you want to save that or if you want to discard it. So I tend to just put mine off to the side in case I need a filler or a scrap somewhere else, especially this piece. This piece is pretty big. Okay, so we have that big piece and it's going straight across. And again, you can see mine is a little bit off, just depending from my first one. It's totally up to you where your angle is. Okay, so then we're gonna just go to the left and to the right and following the same path. So I'm not necessarily gonna do the exact same pattern as my first one, but most of your pieces are either 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch. This one is 2 inches. I think there's a few 3 inch or 3/4 inches in there. I'm going to take the pattern up. Now again, make sure that you cover all the edges of the white at the top. That's important because when you cut it, you don't want to trim it. So you'll see I got almost all the way down. I'm going to find another one that is that length. And I use the side, you can't see the side of my table. That's okay. But I use the side of my Versamat or my table to put these extra pieces if they have sticky on them. Now you notice this one I just cut so I could work with it. I didn't cut it deeply, okay? Now there are some pieces that have a doodle, which I think is really cute. The doodle may not be in the exact same spacing, and that's okay, because you're gonna separate it by some of the photographs. I started at the wrong edge. So this is the part up here that I was saying you have to be really careful to make sure that you don't underestimate. I'm going to take this one all the way down. And you'll see again, as you get smaller, your pieces, you need little lesser and lesser. Now, if you were concerned about the seam, if that makes a difference to you, then on this one, you can have your seam covered about here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I know that it's going to be at about 3 3/4, which is about here. That's about where that piece is going to start. So I'm going to cover just a little bit And this seam here will be covered by this paper, okay? So then you won't have to see the seam and so forth, okay? So then I'm gonna come down with a red strip. And again, you don't have to follow exactly however you would like to do it. If there's one pattern that you don't like, then you can flip the paper. Some of these are double-sided. It's the pattern papers. So like this one has a black stripe on it. You can just determine which one that you like the best, or you can interchange that yellow or the black stripe if there's a pattern that you don't care for. I am okay with the seams, but I know some people are not, and so that's really a personal choice. This one doesn't want to line up. One of the good things about using the Close to My Heart tape is that it does give you that little bit of wiggle room that you can pull it back up and adjust it if you need to. Okay, so we're going to continue this pattern. I'm going to flip it. Whoops. Trim off my excess. And I did this every, 4 or 5 pieces to save time. It helped a little bit, and I didn't have so much clutter on my layout. And I just flipped that. So we're gonna flip it back. Now I'm gonna move this for a second. So you're gonna continue and finish your entire piece. There we go. I am going to go up and do the next one so that I can show you how to carry it over. So this is this piece, about like that. I'm going to trim it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my other sheet of cardstock. So this would be your right page. And I want to set it across the Versamat so that they fit exactly, okay? I'm going to take this other piece. Now this is matching, so you can see it's the same width. And I purposely only used a few different sizes so that you could interchange. But if you're doing this at home, then you could add any size that you want. Okay, so I need this to square off. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm overlapping my pattern exactly here to get a start. And then I'm going to gently pull it, flip it, and cut. And then this piece is going to be my baseline to keep the angle the same for my second layout. Does that make sense, hopefully? So then I will continue going upward on this page, of course, and the patterns will all fit and go across. Okay, so I am going to take a pause. I'm going to go ahead and finish my layout pieces, allow you to do the same, and then I'll come back and we will finish the rest of the layout. Hi guys, it's Tanya. I'm back and I am going to now show you how to create the layout or build the layout. So we're actually going to slide this aside for a second and we're going to do our stamping. So I'm going to flip my Versamat over and you should have a little bag of pieces. It has your silver foil tabs as well as these 3 pieces. And you're going to be using the stamp set that came with the kit. This is Believe in Anything is Possible. It is an exclusive stamp set that is only available if you are a Close to My Heart maker. So if you're a friend that wants to do this class, they can reach out to me and I can get the stamp set for them. So the shorter piece of the 3 glacier pieces, we're going to stamp Because Your Dreams Matter. And I've already put mine on my block. Of course, you could change it to anything else. That's just what I chose to do. And that is going to go there. And then I'm going to peel this off and I will clean it later off camera. I'm going to put the next stamp that we're going to be using, and mine's going to have to go at an angle to fit on the block that I have, but it is the in yourself, or believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. Okay, and so that one is going to go on one of these pieces, but you'll notice that they're the same size, so it doesn't really matter which one that you use. I am using the dark side of the paper, but of course you could mix it up and use the other side. And then this last one is the word believe, and it is a very tight fit. So if you stamp off, that is kind of, it's okay. But it is a very tight fit. It will fit almost exactly. I move mine just a little bit so a curve of the E you know, is right up against the edge. Both pieces are right up against the edge, but that is all good. So then we're going to put the stamp set away for the moment, or the ink pad in such a way. We're going to pull it out in a few more minutes, but let's get to that point first. Okay, so I'm going to bring back my layout, and as I told you before, everything is going to depend on your placement, and so you will notice that mine is a little bit off from this one. It's not the exact same. It's kind of where I started and the angle that I was on and so forth. So don't worry if it doesn't look exactly alike. As long as your two pages follow each other, you are totally good. You can see mine goes more this way, where this one comes more down. But either way, not a big deal. So I've already cut my mats. You can cut and do your mats whatever size that you want. I did 3 1/4 times 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and then 4 1/4 on the other side. So that's what I chose to do. I'm going to take this long black strip. You'll see that it matches over here. And I'm going to get my adhesive runner. Now this one I am doing flat. All of my photo mats are popped up on foam, but this one I wanted flat so that it would match, or so that it would offset it. And if I'm looking at my Versamat, I'm going to slide my layout back over. It is about 4 1/4 and then centered this way. So we're going to line it up the best of our ability at about 4 1/4 over here. Or 3 3/4. Sorry, I'm reading the thing backwards here. And again, I just usually eyeball mine. It doesn't have to be perfect by any sense of the imagination. Okay, so once we have that down, we're actually going to glue the believe up at the top. And again, this is flat. So just like that. Now there is a piece of white cardstock, white DC cardstock. This is for your journaling. So if you do not want to put that down, if you want to run it through your printer or whatever the case may be, you could leave that. And actually I'm noticing that mine is a little bit larger. So I am gonna go ahead, I should have done this first, but I'm gonna pull this guy back off and trim that journaling piece. Now again, if you're a computer journal or a hand journaler and you're afraid you might mess up, you might want to hold off on attaching this white piece until you are all done. Okay, then you have in yourself and you will be unstoppable. And that is gonna, again, leave a little bit of a space. And then you have a silver strip. And your silver strip is not in your kit, so I will pop that in the mail to you. I overlooked that piece when I was putting this together, so I apologize. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this back over because my one piece is just a little bit longer. Okay. And then again, we said 3 3/4 and then centered. So I'm gonna make sure that I am lined up. Okay, so now we're gonna do the photo mats, and I already put my foam on them. I'm going to do 3 3/4 or 3 and 4, 3x4. And so I'm going to balance that off of the word believe, and center it between that and my edge, okay? Then I'm gonna come down below and do the 4x4. And you can use whatever size you want. That's why I included a full sheet of the cardstock, so that if you have, you know, other size photos, I've started doing that with most of my kits, and I think my clients like that a lot better. Okay, so now we have this bag of circles, and we need to pull out 5 of them. So we need a big one, a medium one, and a baby one, and then a medium one and the other baby one. And we are going to attach those, and it's really truly going to matter, or not matter, it's really going to depend on the placement of your pieces as to where you put your circles. So you can see on this one, I have it centered within this large red space. I'm not going to be able to do that on my new layout because my placement is a little bit different. So just wherever it works best. I'm putting foam tape on the bottom or on the back. And so I'm going to do this one in about the same position, but it's not centered like that one is. And then this second dot is going to be popped up twice. So on the edge, I'm going to put 2 layers of foam on one edge. On the other edge, I'm going to put a very narrow 1 piece of foam. And that's going to be what overlaps the circle. Okay? So then it's going to go just like this, and it looks higher on one side than the other. Okay, so then we're going to do this one up here, and we're going to do the same thing. The big one has 1 layer of foam. And again, it's going to be different depending on where that piece is, but I want mine to kind of be in alignment. So I'm going to do it about the same spot that I have this, and not try to center on that one, even though that would look very nice. I am going to double this one just like we did on the first one, which helps, and then single this side. And this one is going to overlap like so, okay? And then I'm going to do the last one. Now the last one, I need to make it a little bit narrower just because it is narrower. Just like that. And I'm going to put the thin over it just like that. Okay, so that is what we are doing with this side. Then I stamped over here, and anything is possible. And that is not the stamp that I pulled off. You can switch any of these stamps. There is also Magic is Everywhere, or you could leave it blank, whatever you want. Okay, and so I need it to be a clear spot. So of course this one is going to be much, much higher than we did on the other side. So I am just going to stamp it right there like that. The good thing about this is because it's on solid cardstock, if you mess up, you can simply add another piece right on top of that and tuck it right there, and you're going to be absolutely perfect. Okay, so we're going to move this side over, and we're going to finish the second side. Same concepts. Do want to make sure, actually, can I have that layout back for a second? You want to make sure that your stripes are going the correct way. I think these are, but I just want to double check. So once you put your pattern together, if you notice from the other one, it's a constant flow, right? Because we put it together correctly. Here we go. I had the wrong side to the wrong side. Oh. Okay. I'm going to give those back. Okay, so we are going to do the ones at the top top first. And that is going to be about 1/2 of an inch on both sides, so about like that. There is another 4-inch 4x4 photo below that, which is going to come in about here. Then I have a 4x6 photo, which is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, right? And that is gonna line up with this first one at the top and still keep about that 1/2 of an inch margin, okay? Now, this one is gonna get the word dreams on it, but since I don't have my photo, I'm not going to attach that. And that can go on the photo or on the flip flap photo, whichever one you want. But I don't want to attach that right now. Okay, so then that's all there is to the basic layout. So we're going to slide that aside. And then I want to show you how to do the flip flaps. So this is going to be, let's pull in the right side here. This is the flip flap page that we're doing. So what you're going to do is you're going to come back with these circles, and they all should be the same size now, okay? So this is your flip flap, and this is going to be the top one, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to use an adhesive, a strong adhesive, whether it be a liquid glass. I use my red line tape because I like this one the best, but whatever you want to use. I would not recommend using this tape runner because I don't think it's going to stick and hold. But if you use the Tombow runner, that should work. So I'm putting the red line tape on the top. I'm going to peel that film off. I can catch it with my finger. Sometimes it's a little tricky. And I'm going to put it about halfway in the center, just like that, on the top of my flip flap, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. Oops, I lost my loose circle. There it is. And I'm going to put 2 pieces of red line tape. I'm going to put one down here and then one up right over where I put the first one on top of the flip flap. So this one's on top of the flip flap. This one is below. I'm going to pull that film off. I'm going to take my second circle and attach it and press down. Okay, so that is making this very sturdy because this is what people are going to do to lift up and down. And then if you haven't attached flip flaps before, what you would do is you would slide this into your page protector, okay? You would pull this film just like this, and you would put it directly over your photograph on top of the page protector, press it down. And then what's going to happen is it's going to flip up and down. And I usually put the seam to the inside, and on the back where the roughness is, that's the side that I stick down. So I fold mine over, okay? So let's pull this off. Again, make sure it goes on top of your page protector. Now, the one thing that I forgot to do is right down here, we are going to stamp that other sentiment. So this one says, in the impossible. And again, you could do magic, you could leave it blank, whatever you'd like. And we're going to still stamp on that red piece. So it's gonna go right there. Again, if you mess up, it's a very, very easy piece to fix. If you don't have extra stripes, red stripes in your paper pack and you mess up, just let me know and I'll drop you one in the mail. Okay guys, that is it. I hope you had fun creating this layout. I'd love to see what you create, and whatever you do, make it sassy.